not planning to fail. Now this can seem quite defeatist, because why would we plan to fail? Why would we not think that we're going to smash the diet 100% of the time? Now let me tell you, I've done bodybuilding diets where I had to be super strict for 16 weeks. You know, chicken, rice, 2 hours a day cardio, that sort of stuff. You know, that was a super strict diet. And I didn't follow that 100% of the time. No one ever follows a diet 100% of the time, because life happens. Unless you're a hermit living in a cave and you've got no life stressors, you've got nothing going on in your life that might cause you to deviate from the plan, you're going to fail on your diet at some point. And in actual fact, I aim for my clients to hit about an 80% success rate on their diet, because I'm realistic that people are not going to follow their diet 100% of the time. So instead of going, oh yeah, no, we'll stick to diet 100% of the time, which we won't, and then you set up yourself a failure and feeling bad and guilty, we say, right, okay, we know that sometimes we're going to fail. We know there's going to be times which are stressing, and we know we're going to go off plan a little bit. So what we want to do is have things in place to make that happen. Now, I go into this in more detail in my mental skills ebook, so you can download that from the site. But at a basic level, you are going to want some nice food at some point. You know, someone's going to walk in with some biscuits, some ice cream. You're going to go to cinema and you fancy some pick and mix. You're going to go out for a meal with your partner, and then the person's going to come, oh, do you want some pudding? No, I don't want some. Yes, I do want some pudding. You know, so it will be like that. So it's one of those situations you say, well, actually, do you know what? I'm going to plan to have some junk in my diet. I'm going to plan for when I fail. But my failure is going to be more my decision to fail than it is for it to just come along and overwhelm me. So although we're using the word failure, we're talking about calories, and no calories are good or bad, no food's good or bad. All we're trying to do is say, right, some foods have more calories than others, and so say like a cake, for example, will have more calories per gram than say a bagel or maybe some rice or something. So we know if we eat that cake, it's probably not going to fill us up as much, and it's going to have more calories. But we will choose to accept that, and we will choose to incorporate it into our diet, and maybe be a little bit hungrier later on in the day because of eating that cake, but we've accepted to do it. So think about foods that you like, the foods that you not so much can't do without, but foods that you want to be eating a couple of days a week. So for example, I like Pringles, and I like Ben and Jerry's ice cream, caramel choo choo. So I always have a couple of servings of that in a week, and I allocate that into my day. So I know it's about 300 calories, the amount of ice cream I'll eat. So I allocate that into my diet. Now, I can do that and still maintain a six-pack and still maintain a decent lean body, because I've allowed it to go into my diet. And if you don't do this, what will happen is you'll stick to your diet food, and all of a sudden something will come along, and it will be some sort of stressful event or something that makes you go off plan, and all of a sudden you just dive in face first, and then you haven't planned for it, you haven't allowed for it, so you just eat the world in one sitting, and then you've gone massively over your calories for the day. Now, all that aside, overeating in one day is not going to make a massive difference to your diet if for the other 6 days of the week you've stuck to the diet. So it's not the end of the world if you do go off plan for one day. However, if you do go off plan for one day, and then you're going off plan the day after and a couple of days later, the average of the calories you've eaten is more than your allowed deficit. So that way you will start to gain weight. So what we want to do is, rather than just thinking, oh, we'll just firefight it, and when it comes up we'll just deal with it, what we actually want to do is plan for these sorts of events, and plan to have some ice cream, plan to have some crisps, plan to have some cake, so that when it comes up we go, oh, I've planned for that, so that's no issue, I can have it. And I don't feel guilty because I've allowed myself to have it. I've made a conscious choice to eat that. I've not allowed my emotional eating brain to come out and go, eat that, eat that, eat that. So plan for failure, plan to have some junk in your diet, and enjoy life a little bit, because no one likes dieting person who gets their Tupperware out at a restaurant. Don't be that guy or girl.